Remember that. I am a gift. It's time now for our time of meditation. So close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. Or maintain a soft gaze with your head just slightly bent. Take a nice breath and settle into this space and time. And just settle your mind for a few moments. Now, think of a time when you felt challenged or in despair. Bring someone to mind who was helpful during that time. Might have been a parent, friend, a stranger, someone who helped you through a time of challenge. Reflect on how this person was helpful. Is it something they did? Something they said? Was it a smile that got you over the hump? Allow the sense of appreciation for this person, who they are, or what they might have done. Allow this appreciation to emerge into your awareness. And as you feel that appreciation, you might reflect on what you might say to this person the next time you see them. What would you say to express your appreciation in words? Now, let's open our eyes, re-engage, and see if we can allow this quality of appreciation, whatever quality may have emerged, see if we can allow that to continue and permeate the rest of our day. Welcome back. I want to share with you, I do not know how this talk is going to unfold. I spent the better part of a week reading and studying and researching and thinking and putting down ideas. And I have this well-formed talk. But the events of not just the last couple of weeks, but just the state of our world, it just really got into my heart this morning. And in my quiet time, I did my usual. I got up, I did my walk, I did my swim, had my quiet time. And in that time, I was so on the verge of tears for this feeling, this sadness, this bewilderment of what do I do with this? How do I live with this? And the question was put, actually, the work I've been doing was reading the Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World by the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. And it is penned by Douglas Abrams. He does a fabulous job. This book is so packed for me with insights and practical things I can use and the science to back it up. So I spent a lot of time with that. But this morning, it's like, it felt like it was just going out the window. In the book, there was a woman, Dawn asks, "The world is in so much turmoil, war, starvation, terrorism, pollution, genocide. My heart hurts for these issues. How do I find joy in the midst of such large world problems?" And so what I'm grappling with is, how do we find joy in the midst of so much tragedy in our own country? And I have to tell you, I'm getting there. Because this morning, first of all, I met with Reverend Donna and I said, I am not feeling what I wrote here. It's just not connecting because my heart is in a different place today. So we had a prayer. And in that prayer, it's like light started to come through. When she reminded me that this is a time for love in action, that's where I got that. And the thing about, am I going to face this time and choose for myself, and we do choose, you know. Am I going to choose for myself to sit in the place of despair and brokenheartedness? Or am I, this morning again, science of mind, am I going to sit in brokenheartedness, or am I going to use this time to have open-heartedness? And I think that's what tragedy does for us. I think we had like a big balloon of coming together a month ago when the Ukraine was invaded. The whole world reached out with love to support these people. We've had another with the shooting in Buffalo, with the shooting in Uvalde, and it feels like it's just kind of all over. I think the universe is trying to tell us something. I think it's time for us to look at this, open our hearts, and with this love, because you know that's all we are. That's all that the universe really is. And that goodness is the very core of what every one of us is. So I think the universe has put us on the precipice of the shift. And we've talked about this shift happening for some time, for several years. I mean, Barbara Marx Hubbard. I have to say I haven't read much Barbara Marx Hubbard. I did have an opportunity to meet her once, but my point is, she was talking about this stuff way back in the early 90s, late 80s. We are on the precipice, and we can do something about it. And the first thing that we have to do about it, I think, is look at it and accept that this is what is now. And the next thing for me, if I'm looking at what I can do, I can't do any more for the world than I can do for myself. And doing for myself means turning that love to me, too, and learning more about who I am, what I am, how I choose to show up. But this morning, in our opening experience, the world lightened up for me, because I know that we have in us, right in here, and in here, that it all comes together. We have in us to use our head intelligence, our heart intelligence, and our gut intelligence to make that shift. Now, this talk was supposed to be about create a conscious life and building a spiritual toolkit. So what I got from the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu is what beautiful examples they are. We can call them spiritual leaders. I like to think of them as kind of world mentors, because they live. Bishop Tutu has passed on to the other side, and I'm sure he's still doing his part there. But they live an exemplary life, and by that I mean they set the example. And here I'm just going to go for one way they set the example. You know, we're always talking about our immune system and how we want to nourish our bodies and do our exercise and our qigong and our tai chi and our yoga and do all those things that take care of this physical body. The Dalai Lama says he advocates developing mental immunity. And I love that. That's what he does for us. Some of the things he does. First of all, this is a man of great spiritual power. And don't think he doesn't know that. But what he chooses is to see himself just like everybody else. I am one of the people. I have in me all the same things that you have in you. We are one. He lives that. So equanimity is really important to him. And that was true of Archbishop Tutu. So how do we develop mental immunity? In the book, there's a mention of Richard Davidson, PhD. He's a neuroscientist. He did studies in the unified theory of the happy brain. And you know why he did that? He did it because when he met the Dalai Lama while he was doing research, and you know, neuroscientists, whoever's doing research, they research the things that are wrong, you know, that need to be fixed and whatever. And the Dalai Lama says to him, why don't you research how to be happy? Yeah. So that's what he did. And he found I can't give you all of the details about this thing because they do go into some of the technology in the book. But he found that there are like 4 divisions within our brain that deal with happiness. One of them is a little harder to change than the others, but 3 of them we can consciously, purposefully choose to mold. And the other thing is, our brains, we used to think 18 to 21, 25, we were done. We had all the brain cells we were ever going to get. It was all downhill from there. Well, our sages show us differently than that, don't they? When Joni's one of my buddies, and we were I don't know, we were going out to lunch or something at some point, and in conversation, our years came up. I was amazed because I always thought she was at least 10 years younger than I was. So, yeah, yeah. So our brains don't stop when we're 18 to 25. We get new brain cells all the time. And we have an opportunity to choose how we want them to grow and how we want to express in our life. So having learned about that, then I had to look up this Davidson guy. I had to see what it was that he had to say. So you know me, I went down the YouTube rabbit hole. I found a webinar. And it has given me, I'm going to share this tool. I'm going to try to make this shorter. I'm going to share this tool because I think it could help any of us. But here's what he found. There are, his goal is that we can develop a skill of well-being. Can you imagine that? I never thought of well-being as a skill. Well, we can develop the skill of well-being. And the 4 pillars that he has identified are awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. So in awareness is about paying attention. It's about appreciation. And that's where our meditation came from today. I plagiarized it from Davidson. This is one of the practices that he teaches. So, all right, so we've got appreciation, gratitude, kindness, compassion. When you read the board out there of what our sages have to say, you're going to see those words show up more than once or twice. And he gave us a familiar example about what connection is. The way he advocates doing these practices is to tie it with an activity that we're already doing every day. Well, it takes a couple of minutes, and you do it with something that you're already doing. And it takes a short time. It can be incorporated into your daily routine, makes the process simpler, and it makes it sustainable. So his example for connection, Reverend Donna's going to love this. Before a meal, sit quietly for just a moment and consider all the people involved to get that meal in front of you. That connects us. That reminds us we are one. We are all equal beings of energy on this planet. So you consider the whole chain of events. In this process, we're practicing connection and appreciation. So for insight, insight focuses on acceptance of what is And I kind of added with a curious mind. Because when we look at what is, and look at the fact of it, then we can make a choice. Do I want to continue in this way, or do I need to make a change in me? And maybe that change in me is, maybe I need to let a judgment go and see something rightly, another perspective. And then finally, he talks about purpose. Purpose involves identifying our sense of direction and clarifying the values associated with that. And the thing is to find purpose in what we're already doing. Again, it's bringing it home to my everyday life. So if it's washing the dishes, find purpose in it. Clone Brother Lawrence if you need to. Now, all of this stuff, all of these 4 pillars, is based on the concept of neuroplasticity. This is where they start bringing the science into the book. He says our brains are built to change, and they do change wittingly or unwittingly. And I think I already said, and they continue to change and morph throughout life. We can control our mind, change our brain on purpose at any age. And this building mental immunity is the key to our ability to find our calm center. Dalai Lama talks about that a lot. Having mental immunity. This man gets up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and he does his spiritual practices. Now, I would say he meditates, but I don't know. I know meditation is one of them. But he focuses himself for about, 4 or 5 hours, and then he goes about his day. And you would think the man doesn't have any time to sleep. He goes to bed early. He gets a full night's sleep, but that's his day. Desmond Tutu said, that's too much. he couldn't do that 4 or 5 hours. His was only about 3. So part of the process in developing mental immunity is that we do have spiritual practices and that we are consistent with them. And the one that I'm using, I don't have my phone here. There's an app for that. It's the Mental Health Program. Google it. The Mental Health Program. It was created by Davidson's team. It's available free. So I've been working with it for the last 2 days since I found it. I think it's a gift. I think it's a way. What it's done for me is it has shown me, we hear about the words won't come to me right now, but loving kindness. We hear loving kindness all the time in the practice and so forth. Well, what this app does for me is it makes it real and it makes it practical, and it's not woo-woo at all. So they present to us, it's a teaching and practice. Learn, practice, learn, practice. Yeah, you do 3 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, an hour, whatever suits your lifestyle, your needs, your choices. So it is put together in, first of all, they start with a personal survey. So they've got a baseline of where we are. And then it goes into this series of lessons and practices to train our mind, improve our well-being, and help us access that calm center. So they do this in 5 categories. First of all, there's the foundations. What is this all about? So they give us the background and they give us the science behind it. So this is a secular approach. After foundations, then you've got a section on awareness. You can click on awareness, and they'll tell you something about awareness, and then you have a little practice. Yesterday, my practice was 3 minutes. Today, it was 5 minutes. Today, it was counting breaths. How many times have you heard, well, just count your breath? They gave me a way to do that. And it worked for me when it hasn't worked for me before. And I've actually used that technique in the past, counting breaths to focus myself to go to sleep. It was different this morning. So awareness, it's about awareness of what am I feeling? How is my body working? Where am I in time and space? And then they have a section on connection. I haven't gotten there yet. Awareness, they have a section on connection, insight, and purpose. And I am finding it helpful. I hope you might try it too, because this is a way. This is a way to find the calm center and to develop the skill of well-being when I can hold that space within myself. Then I can hold that space for Uvalde. I can hold that space for Ukraine. And I can hold that space on the precipice of the shift that's happening. I'm going to close with Archbishop Tutu's goal. He says his goal is to be a reservoir of joy, an oasis of peace, a pool of serenity that can ripple out to all those around you. I'm taking that on. Okay. Thank you all for putting up with me. Yeah. Yeah. It's a mental health program. It's time now for our blessing of our gifts and tithes. And as we give these, remember that it's coming from that place that we all are. And I'm going to give you the words here in just a second, because I can't think of it right now. It comes, one of my powers, it comes from a giving consciousness. It goes back into this ministry to grow into our greater world. And we are grateful. We are grateful for all that is shared with us so that we have more to share with the world. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.